Hello everybody, this will be an amazing presentation about beekeeping, all the basics and things that you need to know when you're starting in beekeeping, or that you might have been a beekeeper for a couple of years but you want to go back and look at. I'm going to be reviewing some slides I borrowed from SlideShare. Beekeeping has been in my family for a long time. I'm a beekeeper and I love what I. There are many species of honeybees, but we're talking about European honeybees. They've been introduced to many parts of the world. They're domesticated, they're working bees. So in the hive, you'll have drones, you'll have worker bees, and then you'll have a queen or couple queens. Drones are the males of the colony. They live up to 60 days. They don't have a stinger. They develop from unfertilized egg, and their sole duty in the hive is to fertilize the virgin queen. Sometimes the drones will be pushed out of the hive if there's not enough honey. The worker bees, will control their population, and if it's a swarming season, they will most likely have a lot of drones in the hive. You need to have a lot of drones if you're mating queens. The queen will fly up in the air and breed with the drones, and so you want to have a lot of those. Next, worker bees. Worker bees have well-developed sting. If they sting somebody, they will leave the sting in. It gets stuck in the human skin, and the bee will perish. Not like a wasp. On their hind legs, they have pollen basket for collecting pollen. They perform different duties throughout their lifetime. For about first 14 days of their life, they will start out working in the hive by cleaning the hive, feeding the larvae, and that's a very important job. Then they will graduate and guard the hive, and then go forage and bring nectar and pollen to the colony. So the queen is developed from an egg that's fed special royal jelly, and when it emerges and is about 7 days old, it goes for a flight, gets mated, comes back with all the um, eggs that are in her. She's able to lay the eggs. So the queen lays an egg, and the egg hatches into larvae on day 3, and depending on what it's fed, it becomes a worker bee, queen, or a drone. The cells are kept about on day 8, and then it develops and emerges. Worker bee on day 21, so 3 weeks. Queen on day 16, or a drone on the day 24. You have these cycles. If you're producing queens, then every 15 days you want to do something. Or if you're treating for mites, every 21 days you have new brood that's been sealed, that's going to hatch, and that's something to keep in mind. There are several methods of beekeeping. One is just a natural, where you take a piece of wood, cut it off from the tree, the top and the bottom where the hive is, and just keep the bees in there, make a little opening. That's how they used to do it. It's an old way. Then they moved to horizontal hives. It's still popular, and there's also a modern way of 10 frame or 8 frame boxes. My favorite is a 10 frame deep box, and then you have two of those, and you have some supers on top, and this really works for me. A lot of the commercial guys will also use the 8 frame hives. There's some essential equipment that you will need when you're getting into beekeeping, such as a smoker, a bee veil, uncapping knife, honey extractor. There are different sizes, bigger, smaller, depending on what you need. Uncapping knives, some are just a knife, some are electrical. If you go and look in the beekeeping catalog, you'll find a lot of useful things and you can decide what you need exactly. Bees produce honey, very nutritious food. It's rich in energy and vitamins, and it's used to prevent colds, coughs, and fevers. For centuries. Honey is made out of enzymes and has a lot of other things in it. If a person consumes it, their blood sugar levels stay more leveled compared if they had some straight sugar. The blood sugars would spike high and then drop down real fast. But honey doesn't do that. It just keeps it more stable, which is amazing. And it has other things that are super good for humans. Bees produce beeswax, and it's secreted by the underside of their abdomen. It's good for making candles. It's used in creams, lotion, and lipsticks. Next, royal jelly. It's a glandular secretion of the young worker bee, aged 4 to 10 days old, produced by the hypopharyngeal gland in the head, and it's used for treatment of diabetes, osteoporosis, and also aids in healing wounds and boosts immunity. Bee venom is a bitter, colorless liquid, contains proteins which cause local inflammation, and is used in treating rheumatoid arthritis, nerve pain, multiple sclerosis. Bee venom is a bitter, colorless liquid, contains proteins which cause local inflammation, and is used in treating rheumatoid arthritis, nerve pain, multiple sclerosis. The bees will coat the hive with propolis. They will close up any unwanted spaces with it, and it acts as a disinfectant in the hive, kills viruses. It's an amazing product that is used for throat irritation, cough. It really supports the immune system, and they've done lots of scientific studies with it, and you can buy it in the store in the pill form or get it raw from a hive and use it this way. Bees have some enemies like wax moth. They will get in and destroy the wax and just destroy the hive. Also wasps, they'll try to get in, steal honey, kill the queen, and just rob the whole hive. And then you have other things like wax beetles, birds, ants that can be a problem for a hive. Diseases number one, I would say, is the varroa mite. They will attach to the bee and then get into the brood, multiply inside the brood when it's capped, and then come out 2 or 3 at a time, more, and then you have the population go up. As you see in this table, varroa mite destroys very, very rapidly and will kill the hive, and they won't survive the winter. So keeping them under control with natural methods is preferred, because I don't like using chemicals in the hive because they will leach and they'll go in the honey eventually or in the beeswax, and it's not, pesticides are not a friend of bees. That's my understanding. And so natural ways, there's many natural ways to keep the mites under control. As you see in this table, a varroa mite sucks the hemolymph out of the bee and it becomes weak and dies. There are other diseases that will affect their tracheal breathing system, their stomach. We will cover those on this channel. A big problem today is colony collapse disorder. Lots of financial loss been caused by this, since most agricultural places rely on bees to pollinate, and a lot of times over the winter there is a 20 to 30% loss of the bees. No matter what the beekeepers do, they just lose 20% of their hives. And some beekeepers have seen a loss of 50 to 80% of their bees, which is very unfortunate. So keeping the bees healthy, doing what we can, is very important. Bees are amazing creatures. We'll go over a lot of facts on this channel. This was just a quick overview. Please consider subscribing and like this video. It helps the YouTube algorithm. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for much more to come.